Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today. If you want to call and ask questions, 323-870-3857. Let's get it started. Excuse me. I'm battling a cold today, so please excuse me. ESPN Plus, Nick Ball versus Ronnie Rios. Beeb, Nick Ball's your boy, man. He looked good.
That's my man. That's my man at featherweight.
You've liked him for a long time, man. We watched him for a long time, man. I thought, let me tell you how I broke down this fight, man. I'm watching it. I thought that Rios in the first part of that first round, I don't think he won the first round, all right? But I think he did really well. I thought he was using his jab. I thought he was controlling distance. I thought he was doing a good job. And come the second round, all that went out the window. When Nick Ball started throwing heavy punches, he throws some leather, man. Like every punch he throws has those bad intentions on him. Every single one. And I mean, they're all, I mean, he's throwing them like, you know, sometimes wide shots, sometimes they all kind of appear like looping shots to me though.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of, that's what I kind of wonder about as he, as we get closer. What happens when he fights a class guy? You know what I mean?
Well, he fought Raymond Ford. Now, and I'll tell you one thing about him. He has a very versatile repertoire, right? Because this guy, even sometimes he'll go wide over the top because he's so short, and sometimes he's got to come over the top to land. But when he gets in close, watch how fluid and how he shortens those shots up when he's on the inside. When he's on the outside, he loops a bit because he has to kind of get over the top because he's so short, and he's got to soar the shots over the guard of the taller fighter. But when he gets inside, he's like a buzzsaw, man. He's like a little hummingbird in there, man. And you can keep him outside for only so long, but he's so quick on his feet. Gives you that little quick foot feint, and then he darts in there.
He's got good footwork to get inside.
He's got a pretty quick jab.
Yeah.
And also, too, he's 5'2", but then when he gets lower, he becomes more of a compact target, and it's hard to just line him up with that jab consistently because he's such a compact target. And he moves his head pretty well, and he kind of steps around, and he has like a little bit of Ricky Hatton to him, a little bit of dare I say Manny Pacquiao with the way he comes in on the angles, like sometimes.
Yeah.
He's a real crafty little guy, and because he's so aggressive, I think a lot of that nuance that he brings, a lot of the craftiness that he brings, a lot of those little quick feints, those little head movements. Just the combination punching on the inside, the way he positions himself, the way he can step in, step out, step around you and outmaneuver you and just pin you up against the ropes and just maul you if he has to. This guy is a fan-friendly fighter. He's a fight fan's dream. He's never in a boring fight.
No, he's always fighting. And I tell you, the thing that to me made the difference in this fight is his strength. This guy is strong.
Very
he was
strong.
able to muscle this dude around like nothing else, man. I mean, he was able to move him. He was able to position him, move him with shots. I mean, whatever he wanted to do, he was there. And that game plan looked like it went by the wayside. I mean, right to say it, like in the second round. Like I said, man, Rio used that jab. I wanted him to use a jab like he was doing in the first. Keep the distance, use a jab, everything. If you watch that first round and then you watch a second, it was a complete different showing. At that point, it was done.
Ronnie Rios is a solid fighter.
Yes, he is.
Solid fighter. Probably bottom top 10, but he's a solid fighter.
For sure.
Comes to fight. Very brave.
Contender for sure.
Very brave. He's not an easy out. He'll make you work every round.
Yeah.
And he landed a couple of good right hands in there. And you could see he bloodied up Nick Ball's nose a bit. But Nick Ball was unwavering in this fight. He just
it looked like he could care less about that bloody nose. I mean, he just kept coming forward.
And credit to Ronnie Rios. He tried to fight back, but he was just outgunned. He was just outgunned in this fight.
And it's the pressure too that he put on him.
Yeah.
I think that was the other thing, man. But besides, like I said, you knew he was stronger. He was stronger, and then he was pushing him. Like I said, he was able to put the pressure on him, and it's just like, man, Rios couldn't do any. He had no answers for him.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear what was going on in the corners in that fight. But was Rios's corner giving him any kind of direction at all? Or what were they telling him?
Rios went down a couple times, man, and I kind of felt for him. I was like, when are they going to just pull the plug on this guy? Because this guy's too brave for his own good.
Yeah.
And these referees, I don't know, man. I hate to come on here every week and keep criticizing referees and criticizing trainers and judges, but
well, in fairness, this was not nearly as bad as the other one we're going to talk about.
No, not as bad as that. But I just if you have the best interest of your fighter at heart, sometimes you just got to pack it in and just live to fight another day. You
wonder, do you have the best interest of your fighter at heart?
Yeah, it's like, dude, you gotta take care of the fighter, because the fighter is not gonna give up, man. Like, a fighter will keep going 9 times out of 10, regardless of what conditions he's in, because no fighter, most fighters, right? I don't want to make too many blanket statements here, but for the most part, when you're at that level, right, you have a lot of pride, and you don't want to stop. You don't want to be called a quitter or anything like that. Not that they are a quitter. Everyone has their point where they can't go beyond. Listen, if you got a broken nose, you got a broken orbital bone, I have no problem when a fighter just says, hey, that's enough. Because it's not easy.
No,
we're not in there taking the shots.
No.
So you'll never hear me, say anything negative about a fighter if he can't continue, if he's suffering some serious injuries.
You'll hear me talk like that, but never Beeb.
Yeah, you're you want to see them getting carried out in a stretcher, man.
If you ain't stretching out, I don't want to know your name. You know what I mean?
I warned you about Daniel Dubois. I told you he was going to come back, man.
I told you he was the best fighter ever, and you didn't believe me. I was like, he's still got a lot more in the tank after this loss, and you're just like, nah, I don't think so. He quit.
But
cold-blooded, Beeb.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, man. I just think that I felt bad for Ronnie Rios because he was too brave for his own good.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. And but I thought it was a good fight. I don't think it was as bad as the fight we're going to talk about next, but it was pretty one-sided. And when you're taking that kind of beating, and it's not like Nick Ball is just piecing him, with jabs and counters and just taking him over like Pernell Whitaker or something. No, he's putting shots in. He's putting big-time shots in.
He was hammering him.
He was. Every round he was getting these shots off, man, and they're hitting clean.
Most certainly was.
And I'm like, what in the world, man? Yeah, I don't know why would you leave him in there that long? He didn't win a round.
No.
And you look at Nick Ball, his nose was busted up or whatever, but he didn't win a round. That's what I don't understand, why keep him in there? Who's next for Nick Ball?
That division's wide open.
Yeah.
That division's wide open.
And I think he competes with anybody.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. I think he's that good.
Yeah. I think Brandon Figueroa is up there right now too, man. That'd be a fun fight.
Oh, that'd be a great fight.
Right.
That'd be a really good
fun
fight.
Espinosa's up there too, right?
Yeah.
It's another one, tall, long guy like Ray Vargas. That's a very interesting style.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people. Let's talk about this Janibek Alimkhanuly versus Andre Mikhailovich. Listen, we all kind of knew Janibek was going to win this fight. It was kind of a showcase fight for him. You know what I mean? A lot of bad blood going into this. I didn't realize.
A lot of bad blood.
I didn't realize it. What were they beefing about? I don't understand.
Because Mikhailovich was very upset because of how Janibek had to pull out of the last fight. And he was upset about that. And he felt that, he was mad because he went through a full training camp and he thought that Janibek was being irresponsible for not making weight, wasting his time, making him go through that full training camp and then not being able to fight him. There's a lot of anger and frustration because of that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, Janet, I don't know if you knew this, but Janibek came over to Australia 2 days before the fight, like very, very late.
Why?
And I don't know. And let's not forget that it was only back in July, not too long ago, that he was rushed to the hospital because he couldn't make weight. So I'm gonna be honest with you, even though the skill gap was supposedly great in going into this fight, I thought the stars lined up for Mikhailovich because he was in his hometown. You know, this guy barely couldn't make weight. He was hospitalized as a result of it last time, trying to make weight, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, oh, he should go up to 168, 168. And credit to Janibek because Janibek took all that criticism, took all of the negative energy coming from Mikhailovich, and he used that for fuel. And D-Style and I were talking about this. He said something to me this afternoon. He was like, do you kind of think that Janibek was just beating on him, extending the beating just because he was so mad at all the trash talk and all that bad blood and animosity that was going on leading up to this fight? And I was like, I don't know, maybe.
I mean, was he like, I don't know, was it like all hype or was he really that, but then
he was mad.
I mean, there was a lot of, I was shocked.
Too. The fans were shitting on him too. They were like, oh, he needs to go up to 168, blah, blah, blah.
I was shocked at how much bad blood there was with this whole thing, man. I was like, wow.
He had a chip on his shoulder going into this fight.
Let me tell you what,
He went in there with the intent like, fuck everybody, I'm going to show them. And guess what? Fuck everybody, he showed them. And I was one of them. I had question marks. I was
beat
concerned.
the snot out of that guy. This fight wasn't even close. I mean, this fight was a complete runaway. Alan Kanuli wins via 9th round TKO over Mikhailovich. I mean, this was hard to watch, man. If I'm being honest, this fight could have been stopped in the second round. You saw that knockdown. You saw that in the second round when he just went wild all over. He just touched him and he just went wild. And it
his
was
legs were like all over the place.
Jelly, man. And then I'm watching, I can't believe it goes this far.
Yeah.
What in the world is everybody watching? Like, are you all sadists in this town? Like, what are you guys doing, man?
You know things are going your way when you're in the mid-range and you're throwing like lead uppercuts and they're landing. Like he couldn't miss him. Couldn't miss him with the left hand.
He was hitting this dude. Like, this dude didn't even look like he belonged in the ring with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was bad. One-sided beating, man. I'm not sure what's going on with the corners either, man. But there really should. I don't know if there should be some kind of training or something. Because they're all supposed to be experienced. But Jesus,
what about the referee? The referee was counting this guy.
The ref too. I mean, don't get me wrong. The ref's not exonerated here. But we were just talking.
Did the ref have the over? Did the ref have the over in this fight? Like, what's going on? What's going on here?
Well, you think about it because, the corner knows their fighter better than anybody. They should know him better than the referee does. There wasn't even talk of stopping that fight. There wasn't even talk. Like, right. He just went in there and got demolished.
If that's you in there and I'm the trainer,
yeah,
I'm fucking pulling you out.
Oh, don't you ever pull me out of that fight. No way. Don't you dare stop that fight.
Robbie, I may let it go with you, but you are pulling you out.
Yeah, no. You stop it with Robbie. You leave me in. Never know. The fact that the corner let it go on is just ridiculous, man. It is dangerous, And let me tell you what, Mikhailovich will never be the same fighter again. He's this fight.
He's a career-altering fights.
He'll never be the same fighter.
Never.
I'm not saying he won't ever get a win. I'm not saying, but his run is over. I'm telling you this because we've seen fights like this and we've seen what they do to people. He got pieced up in every possible way. Like anything that could have gone wrong for him did. Again, he's hitting him with mid-range uppercuts. Son, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't defend.
And Janibek
hit him.
Yeah, I mean, Mikhailovich, his only chance in this fight was to smother Janibek, not give him any room to catch him at the end of that sharp left hand that he has. He needed to make this fight like a phone booth, rough and tumble, grueling fight on the inside, and Janibek wasn't allowed him to do that.
Yeah.
Every time he got close, Janibek would give him that little nudge, push him off, pop him with the jab, and just line him up with that left hand. It was It was a master class, man. It's a master class.
And you know what? I mean, we always say there's levels to this.
Of course.
I don't care what kind of game plan Mikhailovich did. He wasn't beating that guy. This was way lopsided.
What does this say about the IBF, who's always so quick to strip people when they don't fight their mandatories? And look what they do. They
put this guy.
Respectfully, I say this with respect. They made Mikhailovich their number one contender. How can a number one contender get taken apart so badly like this? You mean to tell me there's not like you couldn't make somebody like Shiraz the number one contender, right? I mean, come on.
You know, I mean, you know, that's the thing with these belts is that this is why there should be one belt, because it would separate everything. You know, when you got three like IBF, I mean, again, some of these fighters and some of these, like, you know, you go back to like say the Klitschko area where they just defended him. You know, they would take whoever's next. That's who you get. Absolutely. You know, and if it happened to be somebody good, it was. But if it happened to be somebody middle of the road, then it was. And that's what you get though with this stuff. It's never like you get a good fight. And like I said, man, it doesn't I don't know. It's one of those things that you watch and I'm like, why this fight of all the fights we could have had, this is the, you know, competitive fight that you guys put in front of us?
This is the mandatory fight.
This is awful. This is awful. So let's talk about the ref here. Montero had a lot of strong words about the ref on one of his Twitter runs today or yesterday.
Yeah, I read it.
And, you know, look, the ref has culpability. No question. Who do you put more of the blame on? Do you put it on the ref or the corner?
Corner, because the ref
doesn't
have the best. The ref doesn't have a. I mean, he's not tied to the fighter. I go back to what I said earlier. The corner is supposed to take care of you. They're on your team. They're supposed to have your best interest at heart, right? They're supposed to protect you from yourself when you don't want to give up. When you're too brave for your own good, that's where the corner steps in. And Deontay Wilder can say whatever he wants. Oh, well, I tell my corner never stop. No, that's not. No.
You never ask the fighter if he wants to stop because you put him in a position to stop.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You never want to ask him what he thinks.
That's right. So.
And I don't understand these corners, the die at all costs kind of corners. I really don't. And what about this ref? I mean, that was pathetic. I mean, it really was. That fight should have been stopped long beforehand.
The fight should have never gone more than 4 or 5 rounds.
You know, at least the Rios fight, the guy was trying. The guy was competitive somewhat. You know what I mean? Yeah. This wasn't competitive. Yeah. After that second, like I said, man, that second round set the tone for that fight, and he was just getting pieced up the entire fight. It wasn't even close, man. Wasn't even close. I don't get it, but that referee should be out. You know, he won't be, but he should be. You know, how do they determine these things? How do they determine who gets this ref job that is ref that nobody's heard of? You know, and goes out and refs a big fight.
You know, they have judges that make mistakes, have turned in really bad scorecards, and you may not see them for like, I don't know, a couple months, but they always seem to pop back up again, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. They'll suspend them for a little bit or just take them off the card. And then, you know, and like, is there training for these guys? Like, obviously, listen, I know they have to go through a training. Judges have to go through training. Everybody's trained. I get that. But is there a retrain period too? Like you have to, you know, for like doctors, they have to keep up with things, you know?
Oh, like recertifications and stuff like that. You know, Steve Smoger, the referee, and Steve Weisfeld were telling me that they used to have like seminars and stuff that kind of help teach and train the judges and the referees and stuff. But I'm not sure if there's anything mandatory.
It should be mandatory.
Yeah,
but then you get the whole thing of who's going to pay for it.
It's like a teacher. Teachers have to get recertified every so often.
Every so often, they got to, every couple of years.
Nurses as well. They have to, you know.
Well, even IT certifications don't last forever.
Oh, you have to
degrees
do
last forever.
You have to do certs too?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want a certification, you can get it. But I think the maximum, like Microsoft, I think the big one at Microsoft was 3 years. The big one at Cisco, I think, was 3 years.
Got you.
And then you have to recertify.
In municipality, we have to like do these, courses and stuff. Like we have to every so get specific trainings and stuff. Like it's part of the job. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. We do too at our place too. We got to do that same thing. But we got to go online and take the certifications and stuff.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah.
But Cisco, you're right. Cisco certifications last for 3 years. Correct, Fight Doctor. Look at Fight Doctor's got a Cisco certification, huh?
He's a smart Fight Doctor's a smart guy, man. He's
dude, man. Yeah, that ain't easy to get. Let me tell you what. What is it? The CCNA, I think it is. That's the big Cisco one. Or maybe CCIE. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been down that road. But those are like 3 years. But that's like a $2,000 test now. It's a 2-day event where
it's $2,000, Eric.
It's $2,000. It's a 2-day event. It's a 2-day event where you go there and you got to fly out to San Diego. They don't pay. You got to pay to get out there.
Jesus.
And CCIE is the big one. He's right. And it's a 2-day test. Fight Doctor, did you get that? Did you get that cert? Let's see if we got it. But it's one of the hardest ones to get. But man, it's for one day it's a written test, and then the second day it's a hands-on where they put you in this room and they screw up something. Something with the servers and the Cisco switches and everything like that, and you got to go in there and see what you can do. So yeah, it's not easy, man. And they say it's got a high fail rate and everything like that. So, yeah, man.
Interesting.
Oh, he has a CCNP. Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. That's a good one, too. Working on the CCIE. Well, best of luck to you, man.
Yeah. Do you have the CCIE, Eric?
No, I don't. No, because we didn't work with Cisco back in the day. They had got established and everything like that. And then when it came up, and then I could get it, but it's a lot of study. It's a lot of money. I don't really need it.
Do you have the CCNP one or you have a different one?
I got one of the early ones. But again, it's expired by now. Just like Microsoft, their early one was the big one was the MCSE. Back when that came out, I got that one. And that lasted 3 years, and then you have to re-up. And then pretty soon it just gets cost prohibitive. You know what I mean? Because they're expensive. Each test that you take back in the day was like $100. It's probably like $200 now, $200 to $300. So, yeah, the passage percentage for the CCIE is about 45%. Yeah, that's right. And again, that's $2,000 that you plunk down to take that test. So, yeah, man. We did talk about Nick Ball, Raphael. We did talk about Nick Ball, not Rafferty, though. Did you see the Rafferty fight? I did not see that.
No, I didn't see that one.
I didn't see that one. So, hey, if he won, he won. Congrats. There you go. All right, guys, that was the action this weekend. Let's go ahead and go to the schedule here. And listen, man, honestly, there's only one big fight to talk about. There's a couple on here, though. October 12th in New Jersey, right? Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Khalid Chouati. 10 rounds bantamweights. Michael Anderson versus the dreaded TBA, 10 rounds welterweights. And that's it. Emmanuel Rodriguez still fighting, huh?
Yeah, he's still fighting.
Wow. That shocks me. Because he had man, I tell you, he had come up on a radar. I mean, come up.
He had momentum there for a while.
He did, man. And then he ran into anyway, man. And that was game over, man. I swear, I had never thought when I watched that fight, man, I never thought, you had to suspect. I suspected Inoue could win the fight.
Sure.
But I didn't think it was going to go like that.
I picked Rodriguez to beat him.
Yeah, I think I did too. I think I did
Both
too.
did, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Crazy, man. That was just crazy. Yeah. So yeah, and he hasn't really been the same since then.
No, he's taken a couple more L's. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's a fight in Japan, but there's no TV on it, and there's not really nothing major. So let's go to the big one in Riyadh. October 12th. So this has got to be at what, like 2:00 fight, like at 2:00 or something like that.
I think the card starts at about 2:00 if I'm not mistaken, and I guess the main event will probably go off on maybe 6:30, 7:00.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on ESPN, main event on ESPN Plus, and the undercards on DAZN. Go make sense of that one.
Well, at least not to pay for it. Well, not to pay for it. It's not going to be pay-per-view. None of it's going to be on pay-per-view. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're saying that awesome. They're saying the whole card's free.
Oh, that's great. I was thinking it was going to be a pay-per-view because,
they were talking about giving you the main event for free, and the undercard you're going to have to pay for it. But the undercard's okay. It's not like phenomenal.
Pay-per-view worthy though.
Not pay-per-view worthy at all. No.
Main event. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol, 12 rounds for Beterbiev's WBC, WBO, and IBF light heavyweight titles, and Bivol's WBA light heavy. This is it. The marbles here. All the belts, son. Somebody is walking out of here undisputed.
Somebody's always got to go.
This is the deal. Somebody's walking out with everything.
And can Beterbiev keep that knockout streak going? He's 100% knockout ratio.
Think of that. Think of that for just a second here. 20-0 with 20 KOs.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
And this isn't like what's his face where he had 16 first round knockouts. This is like
Berlanga. No,
it's not Berlanga, right? He's fighting live bodies here. So yeah, man.
Some good guys, man.
We'll break that fight down in just a second here. Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark. That's not a bad one for the British heavyweight title.
That was a great one the first time.
Jai Opatai versus Jack Massey for Opatai's IBF cruiserweight title. Opatai is the truth, man. That's going to be a fight. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Kamil Serzmeta, 12 rounds middleweights. I'm anxious to see Eubank Jr. and where he is.
Yeah.
I think that
Zemeta got beat up by Triple G pretty bad. But Chris Eubank Jr. is like 35 years old. Never really had that big one. He beat Artur Abraham, beat James DeGale. Those are good wins, but he's just never like won a world title. He's had some solid wins, but just never has had that career-defining fight yet, even at 35 years old. So
yeah, and you know what? He could have had. He could have had Triple G's. Could have had a lot of people so far. Sky Nicholson versus Raven Chapman. I don't really know too much about these girls. Ben Whitaker. Steve.
That's your guy.
That's my guy.
Right.
Must see TV. Ben Whitaker versus Liam Cameron. 10 rounds, light heavyweights. There you go. And that's the card. Beeb, I like Ben Whitaker. I like him a lot.
I have nothing against him. A lot of people like him.
Why don't you just say it? Why don't you just come out and say you don't like him?
Well, I don't like him as much as you do. How's about that?
Well, you don't like him at all. I like him, but you don't like him at all. You don't like him at all. You said
made me not like him. How's that?
You told me that if he was the only guy fighting, you wouldn't watch him. He's that bad.
Buddy, I watched two pigeons fighting over a piece of bread in the street. What do you mean I won't watch
Which is why I was so taken aback when you said that about Ben Whitaker. I couldn't believe it,
Oh, God.
All right. So let's break this fight down, man. This is a big one. Beterbiev versus Bivol fight preview. Beeb, let's break them down, and then we'll give our picks after everything's said and done. You know how we always do it. We always break it down to power, speed, boxing ability, IQ, all that other good stuff.
Yep.
Let's start with the big matzo ball here, power. I think for me, it's kind of a no-brainer. Both guys can get you out of there. Both guys can knock you out. That's just the way it is. But nobody's even seen the final bell with Beterbiev.
No.
But you know what's more impressive to me is that he's got knockouts all over the board. And what I mean by that,
sure.
1, 5, 10, 12. It doesn't matter.
Knock Vosnik out in 10, right?
He keeps his power all through.
Never
it
gets
ain't going
tired.
nowhere. You see guys with these big, like with the Berlanga is a perfect example. If you get out of the first round with him, you're gonna have a shot here.
Yeah.
And like this guy, man, every round he's dangerous. He's dangerous throughout the fight. That's what gets me.
Yeah.
That's
he
what
gets stronger as the fight goes on.
You could argue that. You could absolutely argue that.
As the fight goes on.
So I think power, for me anyway, I got to give it to Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Like I said, they both got power. However, this is he's got the one-hitter power, whereas Bivol, I don't believe has that. Bivol is going to be an accumulation to get you out of there. At least he'll have to do that to Beterbiev to get him out of there.
I believe so, yeah.
So power, you're on Beterbiev as well?
I concur.
Yeah, that's a big one. Speed. And now this is a different one for me, man, because neither boxer is overly quick to me. They're not like nothing like, when you think of speed, you think of like Roy Jones or like a Whitaker or something like. I don't really see that here.
Well,
I mean,
Bivol's quick. Bivol's quick, but he's not dynamic like a Roy Jones.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Like, he's not fast, twitchy, explosive, but he's got quick feet. But the thing is this. I've had people say, "Oh, Bivol's much faster than Beterbiev," but it's not always. But the thing about Beterbiev is his punches are like so short and crisp. Like they're such. He's so efficient at what he does that the shortest distance between a point is a straight line. And while like Bivol's throwing the long shots from the outside, he's kind of coming over the top. This guy's like throwing like shots from his like boom. Like 6-inch punch, George Foreman style, right? This guy mid-range to inside is just so effective, right? Because he shortens up his shots, no wasted motion with this guy, not a lot of torque that goes into these shots. Like obviously he's turning his body into the shots, but he's not pulling back, and there's no telegraphing anything with this guy. These shots a lot of times are coming right from the elbow, boom, boom, and that's why it's just hard to defend against this guy, because he punches with you, and he's able to kind of like thread the needle, and he's so accurate in his punch selection, the way he goes to the body, the way he finishes up these combinations, always goes to the body, comes back up with short hooks, uppercuts. He's just a really, really. He's a dynamic fighter to me.
So who would you take in the speed category?
I'd edge it to Bivol.
You'd edge it to Bivol?
But again, the efficiency, the accuracy, and the timing of Beterbiev counteracts that, in my opinion.
Yeah. To me, like I said, I think either boxer, I think it's a push in here. For me, it's a push because nobody really stands out in the speed category. Yeah, and, you could argue, listen, man, Beterbiev's quick too. The fact, listen, you don't have 20 knockouts if you can't land that shot. You're going to do something right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both have really good footwork. Both have really good boxing skills. You know what I mean? So I'd have to edge it. I'd have to edge it as a push. To me, anyway, it's a push. Let's talk about boxing ability here, man. So both guys, to me, are very good boxers. I believe Bivol is the better boxer of the two, but it is very close.
Yeah.
Watching Bivol take apart Canelo, watching him take apart, and this is what really sold me on Bivol, wasn't the Canelo, was Zerto Ramirez.
That was a good fight.
Yeah. And you're just reminded of how good he could box because he just completely demolished that guy. And that was a guy coming in with what, 40, 50 wins, undefeated. I mean, and I said before the fight started, I said, I'm telling you right now, it's not Bivol, it's not Beterbiev, it's Ramirez, who's the best fighter in that division. Once he goes in that division, he's going to be the best fighter in that division. Sure enough, I was wrong, because he was just taken apart. That's to me anyway. He was just taken apart. Boxing ability, I gotta roll with Bivol on that one.
Now, for me, this is a push. And I always say, a lot of times the guy who moves a lot, the outboxer, the guy that kind of circles from the outside, likes the pot shot, throws the long shots from the outside, he generally is thought of as the better boxer. But there are guys like Chavez, like Duran, who are mid-range to inside fighters. They're aggressive, they're swarmers, but because they have such great footwork, such great balance, they're also great boxers. So I think Beterbiev is his boxing ability. He's very crafty in there. think his boxing ability is very underrated. The
Oh,
way
for
he
sure.
can the way he can set those shots up, create those openings, the way, when you try to reset on him, he's always inching forward close. He's never at an arm's length away from you. So he's always there, not allowing you to reset, not allowing you to breathe, right? This guy anticipates where you're going to go and beats you to that spot before you get there. So I think this guy is just as good as boxer, in my opinion. This guy, he was Olympic, won Olympic medals. So this guy's no joke either. So given his amateur background, his experience, and I think he has some versatility in there too. I'm gonna say the boxing ability, in my opinion, is a push.
Okay. Both of them have, again, man, both of them have really good ability. And like I said, it's close, man. It really is. So let's talk about boxing IQ now. I think that both guys have extensive amateur backgrounds. And that, to me, that always figures into boxing IQ because that's the more styles you see. What was he? He's got like, both of them have like, I think Beterbiev had like 200 amateur fights or something. He lost 5.
Yeah.
Bivol lost 10 out of 185 or something ridiculous. There's no style that they're going to put in front of each other they haven't seen.
Correct.
None. And that's just it. You know what I mean? It ain't going to happen. Beterbiev went to the Olympics. Both fighters have seen that, different styles, every type of style there is. Bivol does a better job controlling the fight and making you fight his fight, though. And that's what I've seemed to have noticed because, when I watch him, he just has a tendency to break down guys. Almost like, remember Hopkins when he fought? You could have a guy who throws a billion punches around. Even the Calzaghe fight with Hopkins, which he won, but even the Calzaghe fight, his output went way down because, and the same thing with the Trinidad fight, the output goes way down because there's two things. There's that defense and you don't know what's coming back and he counters you. And Bivol, while he's not Bernard Hopkins and while he doesn't fight the same way, makes you walk that same path. He kind of dictates the fight.
Yeah, I'll edge the IQ slightly to Bivol because you could argue he is a tad bit more versatile than Beterbiev because we've seen him, box on the front foot, right? We've seen him step it up and take it to guys, but he's also a good counterpuncher. He could fight off the ropes as well too. And against Canelo, he was throwing short shots up close on the inside at short range. So it wasn't like he just used his height and reach. He actually kind of fought Canelo's fight in spots in that fight. So, I'll edge the IQ to him a bit, but that's not to diminish Beterbiev's IQ because we've seen him have to make adjustments in fights and
for sure
try and pull away like he did against Vosdick, like he did against Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard, Vosdick had some moments against him early on, and he was able to switch it up and take it away from them later in the fight.
Raphael says Beterbiev has knocked out everyone he's gotten in the ring with. Beterbiev's IQ is very underestimated.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I disagree with that. I don't think his IQ is underestimated at all.
Oh no, yeah, his IQ. Well,
his ring IQ is not underestimated.
I agree that is
anyway. Like I said, all these categories are so close with these two.
Yeah. I do think a lot of people do underestimate his IQ, though.
I think they think of him. You know what's interesting about?
Just think of him as a brawler, like as just a monster that walks you down and just throws you out of there.
And that's not the case. This guy can fight, and the knockouts are deceptive because I do believe he could win a decision.
Of course,
either one of these guys could win a decision, and that's what makes this fight so great, man.
Let's put it this way: those guys that were knocked out in round 10 or 12, whatever, they very well could have lost a decision if they managed to stay on their feet. So,
yeah, Omar kind of hits it on the head too. He's perceived as a brute. He's right. And I think that's how a lot of people look at him. Like he's going to come in there and he's just all like the Hulk or something like that. And he just throws you around. That's not it, man. He's a very technical boxer, man. He's got some crazy power from what I understand, and when you look at him, that power is insane. And they say, like, even in the gym, they talk about he said he's got freakish power. So, yeah. So let's talk about the last one, X Factor. And I've got two here. and both of them involve Beterbiev, right? So Beterbiev, to me, the X factor here is the power. There's two of them, but number one is his power. All right. He carries that power all fight long. As long as you're fighting, as long as that bell didn't ring, they're going to fight. You know, he's got that power, and he's got fight-ending power. Either hand, he can get you out of there. And he's got combinations, and he's got, you know, and everything he hits you with, you know, he's got power. All right. So that's a big deal. When you can end a fight like that, you talk about like Deontay Wilder, right? And you say like Deontay Wilder is like a flawed guy, but he could still end that fight at any time. You know, he doesn't have very many flaws, Beterbiev, and he can end a fight at any time. And that's a big one.
Yeah.
But let me give you that second X factor, and that's his age.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, he's 39. Now, Bivol's 33. He's not a spring chicken either. They're both younger than us, but, you know, I digress. 39 years old, at any point from, you know, at any point over 35, you could step in that ring and you could just not have it. And that's how it goes. We've seen it a billion times. Now, with you know, nutrition, with supplements and everything like that, again, we always talk about athletes don't get slower, they get bigger, stronger, and faster. The athletes of today would have murdered the athletes of yesterday. I don't care what era, I don't care what, you know, what sport, what era, the athletes of today will always beat the ones of yesterday because they are bigger, stronger, and faster. Okay. But at 39 years old, you can get in that ring and it could all be gone. That's what I worry about. And so I'll say my pick. Go ahead and give me your X factors.
Yeah, for me, the whole age thing, I get it, but I got to see it happen first. Until I haven't seen any signs of slippage, of slowing down. People can talk about the injuries all they want, but he comes back and he looks better than ever when he's in the ring. So the X factor for me is that power, like you said. And the thing about that power is even when you block the shots, even when he's not hitting you in the vital spots like the chin or the face, the head or the body, just by blocking this guy's shots, he's damaging you. He's wearing you down. He's taking his, you know, what he's doing is taking its toll on you. And this guy is putting a lot of mental and physical pressure on you throughout the course of the fight. So the power is definitely an X factor. But here's another thing too, is this guy's stamina. Because as the fight goes on, when his opponents are starting to wear down and getting tired, whether it be from having to move away from him the whole fight or if they're taking damage, this guy just kicks into second gear and he just never gets tired. He actually appears to get stronger as the fight goes on. So that's how I see it. That's another X factor that I would add in there, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good point too. Flying Falcon here. Let's see here. Where was that? He had a really good one. He said physical age is different from your life age. I completely agree with that.
I agree with that. Sure.
That being said, I don't care how many times have we seen it, Beeb, where a guy gets in there and I mean, listen, I don't know. I don't know if this is what happened. I don't know. But Terrence Crawford didn't look that great against Madrimov, did he?
See, you can say that, but I just think Madrimov
he's a very good fighter.
I just knew that was going to be a tough fight.
It's going to.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised by how competitive that fight was. I'll be honest.
But we know that if he steps up against Canelo, it's probably not going to be good.
No, I don't think he beats Canelo. No,
I don't know that he beats Canelo either. Right.
No.
But again, we don't know. We saw him. Now, was that his age? Was that just Madrimov? I don't know. Have no idea. But we see it. When we've seen it, like I said, we've watched a sport for years. And you watch him and you're like, man, how does this work? How does this, and he gets in there and he's just not the same fighter. And 39 is old. It's ancient in the sport of boxing, any combat sport. I mean,
it's up there.
And I hear people talk about George Foreman, Bernard Hopkins, once in a lifetime fighters. once in a lifetime talents. That doesn't come around every day. That's not something you see all the time. That's different. It just is.
That is an outlier. That is an exception to the rule, not the rule.
Very much. Very
Correct.
much. So let's review here. For power, I have Beterbiev. Speed, I have it a push. Boxing ability, Bivol. Boxing IQ, Bivol. X factor, of course, goes to Beterbiev, again, with his power. But then again, you have his age. So who am I taking in this fight? And I'm going to predict it, and then I'm going to pass it over to Beeb here. I'm going to take Dmitry Bivol by unanimous decision. I think he'll be able to stay away from the power of Beterbiev, and I also think he'll be able to outbox him. And I think that he's going to be able to maintain his distance. Every fight we've seen Bivol in, he does something very well, and he keeps that distance. He keeps the distance, and he's a very good boxer. I'm more interested in this fight to see how Beterbiev gets past that, to see what he does to start breaking this fight down, because I feel like he could actually, hit that fourth round in a bit of a skid here, in the sense that he could be down a couple rounds, and what does he do when he's down late? You know what I mean? I think he could be in deep water quickly, just with the skills of Bivol.
Yeah, Bivol tends to start slow, right? And I think Beterbiev's been in there with guys who are quick, guys who had explosive speed, quick feet, good footwork. Anthony Yard's very quick, very explosive. Vozig's very quick. Marcus Brown's very quick on his feet, good mover. But the thing about it is, when you go back out to reset, this guy's constantly inching up on you. You go to move one way. Before you get there, he cuts you off at the pass. He always seems to be within an arm's length of his opponent. You could try to get away from him, but he's always right there in your face, right? And that's because of his footwork. That's because of his ability to cut off the ring.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time believing that Bivol will be able to evade him the whole fight, because no one else has. And he's been in there with some good guys, right?
It's solid guys.
Yeah.
And Marcus, I tell you what, and Marcus Brown, that fight with Marcus Brown was when Marcus Brown was on the come up.
Correct.
They were talking about he's like the next big thing. And yeah.
And if you think about it too, Bivol sometimes likes to lay on the ropes and try to suck you into traps and stuff. If he gets caught on the ropes against this guy, the way this guy can rip to the body, the way this guy can just hammer you with those short shots on the inside, those fucking hammers that this guy has, I just don't think that Bivol's going to be able to evade him the whole fight. And those moments where he gets caught up against the ropes or in the corner, those times are really going to pay dividends for Artur Beterbiev. That's where he's going to go to work, and that's where the damage and the pain begins, and that's where I think Beterbiev will wear Bivol down, because you can only move for so much in a fight. Sugar Ray Leonard once said, you can only move so much in a fight, and at some point you have to dig in your toes, and you have to grit your teeth, and you have to fight. You have to fight your opponent off you. You have to get your respect. And I just don't think that Bivol will be able to move the whole fight. I don't think he'll be able to stop that forward momentum of Beterbiev. And once Beterbiev starts landing flush, which I do believe he will, right, it's going to be the end for Bivol. I think Bivol is going to get stopped in about 9 rounds in this fight.
Wow. 9 rounds, man. Bruce Gass, this is probably one of the best comments I've seen today. The fight is made for the old 15-rounders.
Yeah.
You're right. And he's 100% right. This is a 15-round fight.
It's a good fight.
Yeah. This is a 15-round type of fight. Because, again, you could see Bivol, at least I can see Bivol winning the early rounds, and then Beterbiev starting to close the gap late. Yeah. And if it's going 15, wow. Then you've got yourself a fight. But unfortunately, it's only going 12. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's only going 12. So, fantasy land, man, I like living there.
I wouldn't mind those 15 rounders coming back.
Either, man.
I'd like to see the rounds be an odd number, because there's less draws with an odd number.
Right. That's why I never did like the 12 round when they got rid of the last 3 rounds, I was like, what? You know,
I mean,
like,
you could still have a draw with the 15 rounds, but it's less
a lot harder
likely.
to do, though.
It's
Yeah, it's less likely.
Sure.
You know? So, man, but yeah, I could dream about this one being a 15 round all day. So I'm taking Bivol by decision. You're taking Beterbiev by knockout in the 9th. And I think he wins. I think I'll tell you, I'll go this far, man. I think he wins a pretty decisive 8-4 decision, 8-4, 9-3. I think it's an 8-4, 9-3 fight. That's what I think, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. It's an exciting fight, man. It's one of those that you don't know.
It'll be interesting.
What's going to happen? Let me bring Robert on here and see what he thinks. Robert, you're live.
Hi, Robbie.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good. Hey, Robert, let me talk to you about this fight here real quick. Let me get your input on it. We're talking about Bivol and Beterbiev. Okay. You know, what are your thoughts on it? Beev's taking Beterbiev in 9 rounds, knockout. I'm taking Bivol by decision. What say you?
I've been looking forward to this fight, and I've also been going back and forth on who I think is going to win. But I have seen most of our Beterbiev fights, and nobody has been able to stay away from that power. And I think that's going to be the determinant factor. Bivol is a wonderful boxer. Look at what he did to Canelo. Canelo has been able to dominate almost everybody else's spots, and he went in there and made Canelo look like he didn't belong.
Yeah, but there was a size difference there too. I don't really put a lot of stock into that fight, I'll be honest.
You know,
because of the size difference. There was quite a bit of size difference there, I thought.
Yeah, well, you have a point, but I firmly believe that until somebody can show me they can stay away from that power for 12 rounds,
yeah, that's a good point.
I think Beterbiev is going to win this fight by knockout. I think it's going to be a late knockout, like 10th or 11th, somewhere around there. But they're going to have to prove to me for 36 minutes that they can stay away from his power for 12 rounds. Because remember, he's not like Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder can only hit you with one hand. Beterbiev can hit you with both hands, and it doesn't matter. You're still going to go to sleep. So somebody's got to prove to me that they can stay with him for 12 rounds. And I'm not sure anybody can right now.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Beterbiev by knockout, maybe I would say in the 10th or 11th round.
All right. So you're taking Beterbiev by knockout too, huh?
Yeah. And as far as Nick Ball is concerned, I love watching him fight. But I do think that the corner of Ronnie Rios should have stopped that fight a lot sooner. I mean, to see somebody get totally knocked out of the ring when the fight was already pretty much decided, that was kind of uncalled for. And, I would like to see the rematch with Ball and Ray Vargas, because I thought Ball had won that fight and they scored a draw. Since Vargas still has a title, I'd like to see that unification fight next. And Ball has also talked about, since he's a small guy, he'd like to fight Inuit. He also said he'd like to be able to do that. You know, he said, I'm small enough, I can go handle him.
There you go. There you go. Boxing. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much.
I like his future. I really do.
All right. Robert, we have a question from Boxing to you. He said, Robbie, should I get my news from InfoWars?
Okay.
Oh, stop it. What's the matter with you? Should he get his news? Does InfoWars, do they even have InfoWars?
No idea what that's all about.
Alex Jones.
Is he still?
I don't even know.
What's that?
They still have it.
Do they really? I thought he was like outlawed now.
Yeah.
No, he still has it.
Well,
he may go bankrupt soon, though.
He's in a hell of a lot of trouble. I do know that.
Oh yeah. Well, he's starting to sell off stuff. Yeah. Apparently
he's starting to sell stuff.
Off a bunch of stuff.
Talking about guys, you were talking about that card. I think it's going to start a lot earlier than 2:00. I think.
Well, that's the prelims, though, Robbie. The prelims. the prelims may start at 12:30, but the main card usually goes off at about 2:30.
Well, the main event's going to be about 5.
Main event, yeah, the main event goes later, but they have
Yeah.
like the main card and
Right.
the prelims. The prelims will start probably at 12:30.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only card I'm interested in are the main fights. I never
Yeah.
watch the prelims. You know.
Yeah. So,
But
main-
I do
main
think
card's about
it's
2
going to
o'clock.
wind up a little bit earlier because most of those Saudi Arabia cards start earlier. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
Just hope there's not a concert before the main event in this card.
No, I
Oh
wouldn't
my,
think.
my God, I'm so sick of those.
Those things
I'm
things get on my
absolutely sick of
nerves,
those.
man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I still can't figure out what the purpose of that is. I mean, a boxing audience is normally a boxing audience. You're not going to get people that aren't familiar with boxing to watch some of these fights. So I don't know what the purpose of the London card was, and I don't know what the purpose of the LA card was for having people perform concerts before the main event.
No idea. All right, Robert, we're going to put you on hold here. Hang on.
All right.
What's wrong with
I didn't say anything.
you? Didn't have to.
Just enjoying the scenery here.
760 California. You're live.
What's going on, fellas? It's Brian.
Brian,
what's going on? How you been, man?
Oh, I've been good, man. I've been good. Just excited about this fight coming up. You know, this is like Christmas.
So who do you got? Who do you got here?
Oh, man, I'll be going back and forth like
Everybody
every
says that.
single day with these two. I'm just so happy the fight is happening, but I kind of slightly want to go towards Beterbiev. You know, because I think he fought more opponents and he stopped more opponents. So, and he's tough. He brings the pressure, you know. Maybe tomorrow I'll be thinking Bivol, he's a better boxer, but right now I'm going for Beterbiev.
There you go.
And he got more belts too.
Yeah.
He got more belts. What you guys think? I mean, who you guys got on this? But I haven't heard the show. I'm just chiming in. So
I've got Bivol by decision. Beeb's got Beterbiev by knockout in the 9th.
It's like 50-50 on opinions.
It is. The odds are tight too.
What's the odds on it?
Bivol's like a -126 and Beterbiev's like a +105. It's like a pick 'em, bro.
Yeah, it's close on the odds and everything. So
pick 'em.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm just excited about this fight. I'm glad they got this fight, man. I'm glad they got it. Who's on the other undercard? Is there any interesting fights on the undercard?
Yeah, we already went over all that.
Fabio Wardley.
Rewind.
I mean,
Let's go ahead and rewind.
I'm
it's
just
tough.
Chiming in. I don't even know.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
not my problem, right? That's your problem.
Nah.
We can't just rerun the show because you weren't around. Let's just replay the whole show for Brian because he wasn't around.
B. Yo, B. B.
What's up?
What's up, B? Anyway, B, let me know, homie. Is it anybody else? If not,
all right. I'll tell you. I'll tell you one fight.
No.
I'll tell you one great fight to look out for on the undercard. And it's a rematch between Fabio Wardley and Frazier Clark. The first fight was a great fight. The two heavyweights, really great fight. That's the one fight I'm really looking forward to on the undercard. Keep an eye out for that one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Good.
Plus, I know you love the heavyweights anyway, so that'll be right up your alley.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy that one.
There's some heavyweights. I'm like, okay, somebody gonna get knocked out, maybe. Hey, you know, I found something out very interesting from my homie. He ran into Ryan this weekend down there in LA, and Ryan, I guess he was meeting up with the Saudis or something. I'm wondering if he's gonna do some type of exhibition or something.
He's always out there at those cards. They seem to fly him out there all the time and give him tickets. So maybe they'll do the Devin Haney rematch in Saudi.
Yeah, because he did. You know, he had a meeting with him, so they talking about doing something. That's probably maybe he'll get around all this suspension with an exhibition out of the country. You think?
Well, I mean, he can come back in April. Suspension's over in April.
Yeah, that's not too far away.
Not that far away.
And I mean, he could fight in Saudi. There's nothing saying he can't fight in Saudi.
Yeah, you can fight in Saudi if you want.
Fight anywhere, yeah. And Saudi will sanction that. Saudi would absolutely sanction that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering what's going on, but maybe something's going on. But yeah, it was very interesting when my homie told me that, you know. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But hey, man, thanks for having me, guys, because I know Eric, you about to hang up on me. Hey, I'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, Brian. Nice talking to you, man.
He beat me to the punch this time. Brian beat me to the punch this time. Do me a favor, Beeb. Do me a favor. Go to like DraftKings or FanDuel. Look up the odds of that fight, and I want you to give me like. I'm going to take this next call, and then like after the call, I want you to give me like a pick. Like, what would you bet, or what are you going to bet?
Like for props and stuff?
Yeah.
So
or would you just bet the straight winner? You know what I mean? I don't know.
You know what? I think I would probably take the knockout proposition with Beterbiev, but let me just see what it is. See if it's worth my while to do so.
All right, 718, New York. You're live.
Hey guys, it's Raphael from New York.
Raphael, what's
going on, buddy?
Man?
Nothing much. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, to be honest. Glad it's finally here. It's funny because earlier on during the year, right after the Garcia-Haney fight, I went over to the barbershop, and of course, like, these guys are casuals. They don't really know much about boxing. But they were talking about how much of a great matchup that was, and they were looking forward to the Canelo fight. With the Munguia. I had mentioned to them that, you know, like, a lot of the casuals don't really understand what the real bouts are in boxing. It's very unfortunate. And the biggest fight of the year was going to be that Beterbiev Bivol. That was before announcing the Beterbiev getting injured, to be honest. But to me, honestly speaking, I am heavily leaning into Beterbiev stopping Bivol. And I think the reason that it is as close as it is right now is because the inactivity of him because of his injury, and you never know whether he might age overnight. That's the only reason that I have it as close as it is. Obviously, Bivol is very relevant because of him beating Canelo is that it's such a big name, and people are not giving Beterbiev such a really good chance because of Bivol's boxing skill. But you guys have to understand, you know, Beterbiev went in there with an Olympian when Marcus Brown, and he completely demolished him.
Yeah.
He practically has been running everybody. And for us to kind of bring in Zurdo Ramirez as a good candidate, like, you know, Golden Boy has a really good reputation in just beating fighters and building them up with no-name fighters. So I can't put much merit into that Zurdo Ramirez win. Like, to me,
that's fair.
The Canelo obviously fight is pretty relevant. That's pretty relevant, but I say if it's going to be Beterbiev by stoppage if I have to lean on it.
There you go.
Final question before I leave you guys. What do you guys think of this Teofimo and Terence Crawford round? Terence Crawford now asking for Teofimo to fight Madrimov if he wants to fight.
I think it's just talk. It's just talk. I mean, Terence and Teofimo would be a big fight. It would, right? It's a big fight. But Terence is done. Terence, he wants to fight Canelo, or he wants to fight this $1 billion fight or whatever. And I get it. He's done everything else. So he's only going to fight a big money fight. Teofimo does not represent a big money fight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's my opinion. All right, Raphael, thank you so much, my friend.
I just find that
we appreciate the call. Thank you so much, man.
So Beterbiev straight on DraftKings is a plus 115. By knockout, he's a plus 175. So, I mean, you're getting a plus 60 more by the knockout.
What is Bivol by decision? What's the handle on that?
Bivol by decision is a plus 120.
Plus 120. That's not bad. That's close too. You think it'd be, what about Beterbiev by decision?
Beterbiev by decision is a plus 700.
Wow.
So they're thinking he's going to knock him out if he wins. And
what is Beterbiev by knockout?
Beterbiev by knockout is a plus 175.
Wow. That's low, man.
It's low. So I
think usually when you see knockouts, you see them like minus 500 or something like that.
Well, Dmitry Bivol by knockout's a plus 550.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that kind of makes sense.
For this fight, you know what I would do? I think I would just take the plus 115 and bet Beterbiev straight.
Just bet him straight?
Yeah, because you're still getting odds.
And then what is Bivol? He's a minus what, or he's a plus what?
So Bivol is a minus 135.
So Beterbiev's
Beterbiev's a plus 115.
Well, so the odds, I mean, it's close, but the odds are favoring Bivol.
Bivol's a slight favorite.
Yeah. Interesting.
Slight favorite.
Yeah. Well, there you go, man. Well, I tell you what, we're going to find out who is and who isn't, man. That's for sure. We'll find out what happens. So I'm interested, man. I can't wait. And I believe Boxing asked the question, is this a pay-per-view? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Which is great too, but it's in Saudi. So make sure you guys, it's if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be about 5 p.m. Probably for the main event time is going to be 5 p.m. So that's the only thing we have to get used to with the Saudi cards. I like them.
I like the time change.
Let me tell you this, man. We watched the UFC last night. Good card, good fights, everything. It was really good. Didn't end until almost like 1 o'clock. It was like 1 o'clock. I'm like, what?
It's too late.
And they were really good fights, but again, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, man. By the time you get over, it's done. It's 1, man. It's like, come on, that's way too late. But I get it. They're in Vegas. They start at 7 there, I guess. So
sure,
yeah. I don't mind a 5 p.m. Fight Doctor. I don't mind a 5 p.m. main event. Listen, neither do I. Those are my favorites. Anymore. So let's see. News and rumors. There's only one here to go over. Naoya Inoue versus Sam Goodman is almost set. The fight is actually going to try to take place December 24th in Tokyo, which wasn't he supposed to come here to the U.S. to fight?
Or what, saying they wanted with that? For a fight, but I don't know. It just didn't happen, I guess. Maybe next year.
Yeah, I guess it's going to have to be next year. Or maybe, wasn't that what they say, a March? I think they were looking at a March date for Inoue, maybe? March or May?
Yeah, beginning of next year, they'll probably do it first. In the first quarter, they'll bring him over.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the news. And guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X. At JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. And you can find me on X at ringside73. Guys, we will see you next week.